Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Griefdrums, and welcome back to another episode of Top 3 Tips. This is a video series in which, as the name suggests, we break down 3 tips each week, and we analyze them and go through them and look at how they can help you improve your game. This week, we're going to be going back to basics. We're going to be looking at a few things that you should probably already know that will hopefully just be refreshers for you, but nevertheless, I think they're important reminders. If you aren't aware, I stream over on Twitch 3 days a week on Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Or alternatively, you can check out my second YouTube channel or my Twitter page to keep up to date with everything that's going on. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into this week's video.
Some of these moments, but otherwise their rounds so far pretty well played. That's a lot of shields.
All right, that's a lot of shields indeed. That's a whole lot of shields.
So on the round in question, the team had obviously opened up all of the freezer wall, or at least certainly sections of it, so that they can contest through into the Christmas room, or, you know, over to the piano area and the mini bar just over there. And then what they had done is they had basically put down a couple of Goyo shields just inside of this bar Backstore, and they do this with the intention, I'm making a meal out of this, they do this with the intention of being able to chuck an ADS down, and then they can contest all of this in there from relative safety. I mean, obviously you're playing behind a shield which can get set on fire, but you know what I mean. It gives them that cover, it gives them a load of utility, and it forces the attackers to have to use a lot of that utility in order to just gain access to certain areas. If you come into here and there's so many areas of cover that they could potentially be playing from behind, it's pretty intimidating. Now, this wouldn't have helped on the round in question because of the fact that they had reinforced this particular wall. They'd opened up another line of sight and put another shield in there. They had another shield over here, and then they had a load of ADSs and stuff down. And the floor here is indestructible, and the floor in the bathroom or washrooms is also indestructible. So, it wouldn't have helped a massive amount. However, in ranked, I have very often come up against teams utilizing a shield in here, or potentially even 2. Now, the interesting thing to note about that room is the fact that the floor is destructible. So instead of needing a load of flashbangs and all that kind of stuff, what you can do is you can go down to the reading room, or you can go down to the corridor just next to the reading room, and you can open up the floor with either a Zofia or a Buck or someone like that. As you'll see, that's the hole that I put in for one section, and that's the other hole I put in just there. And obviously, if you go ahead and come down into the reading room, and you go ahead and put some rounds up through the floor, you're going to be able to see that shield, and you're going to be able to take it out. Or alternatively, you could just blow it up from below by hitting just here with the Zofia, like, impact. So this can be one way to clear out a lot of utility. I'm going to go ahead and imitate this with my C4 and just sort of showcase exactly what the explosion's going to do. But anyone that's hiding inside of that room, you fire an Ash breaching round into the floor and they're playing behind a Goyo shield, it's going to go ahead and just destroy them. Next up, I want to take a look at a round that I recently played, in which the communication in it, I kind of feel contributed very, very heavily to not only the win, but how we won. And I want to go ahead and break it down so that you can see exactly what it was we did. So let's go ahead and watch the game.
One's on the hatch in circle desk. Sorry,
okay.
The little cupboardy room, you know the one I mean.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Footprints going into it.
Do you want me to just come over and flash it?
You must recover the diffuser.
Can do.
Is the door open?
There's a prep C4 somewhere. I can hear it.
Nice.
That was a nice push.
The nitro's in here, I think.
Or was he trying to make himself go boom?
Don't know.
That's the Malusi.
Don't go top yellow.
Someone's just died over by Visa.
It was the Malusi that killed him. The Malusi's on ping.
Was the mirror dead and the mirror window opened?
I'm getting the diffuser.
No, Mira's still alive. You got Legion.
Oh, did I?
I'm going to go onto the windows, I'm going to flash it, and then I'm just going to go in.
The diffuser has been recovered. Bomb has been located.
Malusi's long desk.
Mav, come out of the way. I'm going to...
I've got the diffuser, Grief.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to go in and get control of it.
Spaghetti's clear. Connector's clear.
Long.
Meeting's clear.
Last one's long.
Yeah. One
Sorry, it's two left.
She's gone down spiral.
Swinging
She's
in,
gone down
I'm swinging
spiral.
in.
Okay, I'm holding connector.
Yeah, I'm holding long.
Four
Long
last
dead.
operators
Melusi
standing.
went down spiral. Went up yellow.
Diffuser's going down. 50.
Yeah, she's downstairs coming up
75.
spiral now.
100.
Diffuser is active. Protected at all costs.
Loading new magazine!
Nice, well played.
Op 4 eliminated.
Now, as you'll see throughout this round, there were certain areas of communication that worked really, really well and just provided us the opportunity to discuss what's going on. The first example, do you want me to just come over and flash it? Was that right there? I'm asking JD, do you want to just do this? Do you wait a sec?
Can do.
He comes back with can do, and I'm already over here. He's been patient, he's waited, and then as I get towards him, I'm going to flash the cap can, I'm going to go ahead, and we're going to push together to try and get that refrag. And just that tiny bit of discussion, rather than JD just trying to barrel in there, makes a huge difference in the outcome of that right there. If JD had just gone trying to run in and trying to get that frag, yes, he probably would have won it. Capcan had nowhere to go. JD's a very, very good gunner, and like I say, there's a 50-50 chance, probably even higher than that he's coming away with that frag. But nevertheless, why do that? Why go through that risk when you could just work together and ensure that you get it? And if you don't get the frag, you can at least get a refrag and trade that kill out, so you're not at a complete disadvantage. So that little bit of discussion right there is something that you should really start to look to do with your teammates and figure out what you're going to do before you do something. Try and get on the same wavelength. From there, I've explained to the team that I'm going to go up and into console office to try and get control utilizing my Candelas, and I pretty much just let them know. And at this time, JD said, Grief, you haven't got the diffuser, and I don't really mind that I don't, because I wanted to just push in and assert sort of control over the area. Now, it's at this time that we discuss the next part, which is this here.
She's gone down spiral.
Swinging
She's
in,
gone down
I'm swinging
spiral.
in.
Okay, I'm holding connector.
Yeah, I'm holding long.
Now, I have pretty much just told Mav what I'm looking at. He's not a mind reader. He can't tell what I'm looking at. I mean, he could if he stops and actually looks at me, but even then, he's only going to get a general idea judging on where my character is sort of pointed. So I make it quite clear to Mav that I am holding the connector and subsequently all the way through to the projector room and the top of the white stairs. And then he says that he is holding long. So he is holding towards the long desk, which lets us know that we are holding two different angles and can cover each other. This then affords JD the opportunity to come in and go for the actual plant itself, in which he feeds us all of this intel.
Diffuser's going down. 50.
Yeah, she's downstairs coming up
75.
spiral now.
100.
While Ross is feeding us intel on the last player, Melusi, JD tells us exactly what's going on with the plant so that we don't have to stop and look at him to figure out what is happening. Now, this kind of intel, it is just a discussion. You know, you don't have to go crazy with comms. You don't have to sound like you're something out of the SAS. We're just breaking down what we're doing. I'm just saying I'm holding the connector. And then Mav says I'm holding long. And then I know that I don't need to look at that because he's doing it. That sort of info is huge. If you're duo stacking or triple stacking or even 5 stacking, being able to have these sort of discussions with each other can really make a big difference in how you approach rounds. Next, I wanted to take a look at this round in which I'm playing as Capcan over on Outback. Yes, we got Outback even with the map bans. We've been taking people there because we feel confident on it, and it's an easy dub 9 times out of 10. So, yeah, I'm playing as Capcan. I'm having a pretty good round, and then out of nowhere, this arrives in my face. A Ying Candela has just been thrown from the games room, and it's at this point that I've got a couple of options. I can either stay and get blinded by the Candela, which obviously isn't ideal. I can peek the games room door really aggressively and try and contest anyone that comes through there, but I'm probably still going to end up blind and most likely dying. I can turn and run to cover back towards the shark stairs or the barrels, or I've got a fourth option which is available to me. Now, I don't know why this is, but people never ever remember that you can shoot the Candela. You don't have to turn and run. It's not a flashbang. You can just shoot it, which is exactly what I decided to do here. Now, not every time is this going to work. You're not going to be able to get this every single time. And obviously, after I did that, I still had to run to cover. But it didn't blind me. I was able to see the cover I was running to. And it sort of made Ying hesitate with her initial push. So she instead had to start using smoke grenades to try and cover areas where she probably would have just pushed through here aggressively once her Candela had gone off. That actually resulted in me getting the kill, being able to push forward towards the games room door, ready for the next person that's going to arrive. Unfortunately, for the rest of the round, no one arrived. The final guy just didn't do anything. I think he was saving KD. But you get the point. Ying Candelas can be shot, and I think it's it's one of those things that everyone knows, and when you hear it, you go, oh yeah, I know. But during the game, people seem to forget about it, and I don't know why. I don't know what causes that. So hopefully this is just a little refresher to say, don't forget, you can shoot these, you can impact trick them. You don't really have to be too fearful of Ying. Yes, if she's cooked it correctly, then it's going to be pretty good for her, and you're not going to get the opportunity to shoot it. But this is definitely something to keep in the forefront of your mind. I'm afraid that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you can take something away from this. Hopefully it refreshes your mind a little bit. Like I say, you're probably going to know most of these, but fingers crossed, it sort of gives you a bit of a, you know, a brain start where you sort of think, you know what? Yeah, I did know that, but I'd forgotten it. And actually, I'm going to incorporate that into the game again. If you did enjoy the video, or even if you learned something new, please consider hitting that thumbs up. If you don't already, make sure to subscribe. If you're one of the awesome people that stayed right until the end of the video, head down to the comments and put hashtag GriefNation. I genuinely appreciate all the support I've been getting so much. It really does mean the world as we march ever closer to the 100,000. I'm so desperate to get there. I really am. But I need your help to do it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves, and until next time, stay reckless and relentless.